Good evening, students. Today we are going to learn about various types of disease and classification of disease. Last day we have started with what is health, what is disease, what are the symptoms of disease, factor that affecting our health. This thing we have learned. What are the method of preventing disease, and there we have learned prevention is better than the cure. Why it is better? Those things we had also listed. Then we had started with the classification. In this classification we have also learned about 2 and 3 category. Two categories we have learned. Today we will start with the third category. The first category was means classification is always based on certain property, okay, or certain basis. So if the disease is existing for shorter time in the body of patient, then it is called as acute. If it is existing for a very longer time, it is called as chronic. Example, like common cold fever, these are acute. Cancer, AIDS, this diabetes, this persists for years, so they are chronic. This chronic heavily damage the body, heavily affect the health. The next classification was based on whether it is by birth or attack of disease is after the birth. So if it is by birth, it is called as congenital, and if it occurs after the birth, then it is called as acquired disease. We have written about the congenital and acquired. What are their differences? These congenital, they are by birth, like color blindness. So these disease which are by birth, their treatment are very rare, means more difficult to treat them, because most of them are genetic. May not be always genetic. Genetic means inherited from their parent. Acquired means which is not inherited or not by birth, but occur due to poor health or occur due to infection from the other fellow or because of the environment. So this acquired disease may be infectious or communicable, or maybe due to certain disorder developed in the body because of poor nutrition. Okay, so this acquired may be communicable or non-communicable. Now communicable means the disease is transmitted from one person to another, from patient to the healthy person. So that communication may be direct or may be indirect. What are the direct? So because of the direct contact, like because of handshake, so such kind of disease which are transmitted because of handshake or because of other kind of contact between the person, then it is called as direct. If it is not because of the direct contact, but occur or transmitted by certain other medium, like by mosquito, by air, so if it is transmitted or communicated by some agent, so there will be some communicating or infectious agent like virus, mosquito, these things. So what these are, that we have also learned in communicable disease. Example, the typhoid, jaundice, malaria. This communicable disease may be direct contact like your AIDS. This occur by the direct contact. Indirect contact, which occur by the use of the used good by the infectious person, or this communication may be because of insects or
Malaria.
virus. Yes, so it is like malaria, these are, so that we had already written. we have to learn about this transmittable or communicable disease because of these agents in more detail. So that is more important. That is also us. Non-communicable disease, these are not communicated or not infected or not carried from any patient, but it develops in individual because of certain disorder or malfunctioning of their organ. Like if you are not taking healthy food, then your organ become weaker and you may fall ill. If the pancreas start malfunctioning, then it cannot release the insulin hormone, and the sugar that we are eating will not metabolize. As a result, diabetes occurs. So diabetes is a non-communicable. Even if you come in contact with the person having diabetes, no diabetes will occur to you. Okay, there are many more like cancer also quasi occurs, hemophilia, arthritis, night blindness, etc. So these arises due to internal disorder. This can be corrected by proper functioning of that organ, means by treatment. So this was about the communicable. So this thing we have learned studied. So two kind of classification we had already finished. Today we are going to start with the third classification. So disease based on internal and external causes. Internal means which occur because of improper functioning of body, like non-communicable disease. They are mostly because of the internal factor or internal cause that develops in our body itself. External that occur from the outside. So let us write this classification as, so this internal factor is called as intrinsic factor disease. So write this as intrinsic factor or simply intrinsic disease, and the external is called as extrinsic. Okay, so the term like intrinsic and extrinsic that you have to keep in mind. The second category of this disorder may be because of the external factor. External factor is called as extrinsic. Extrinsic factor. Okay, student. So the disease that occur because of improper functioning of organ, improper functioning of organ. Okay, so means which arises, that is they arises, it arises in individual, means the person itself, individual. Means, or individual means the person itself. So they are because of what? Improper functioning of organ. So these diseases are mostly, they are mostly which category? They are mostly, yes, communicable or in or non-communicable category. They are mostly non-communicable or non-infectious because it is the organ disorder. So once the organ get corrected, the individual will get rid of that disease. and such disease are not transmitted. So mostly non-communicable disease. Communicable disease. Example, non-communicable or non-infectious, student. What are the examples? So all those examples of non-communicable can also be written here.
Diabetes.
Very good. So diabetes. What
Cancer.
else? Many more are there. You are getting, some of the person do not have the height of the normal person, means they are of the shorter height. That is also a disease called dwarfer. So dwarfism. Some of the person you might be getting become abnormal height, means more than 6.5 feet or even more than 7 feet. They are called as gigantism or gigantic. So that is also because of the some disease. So gigantism. Other, the color blindness that we have written earlier. So all those non-communicable are also example of this one. So this way you can remember. Now coming to the extrinsic factor. Extrinsic factor are those which occur from the external sources or external factor, maybe because of the pathogen. So occur due to external carrier. External carrier means what? Like mosquito bite.
Agents.
Good. External carrier or agents, or also called as external agents. Okay, student. So these are. This may also include the insufficient diet taking that may occur, but mostly these are because of the external factor or external agent. Example means which category this disease will be? Mostly they are communicable disease.
Communicable and infectious disease.
Good. So mostly communicable. Communicable means spread from one person to another person. The external agent that carries the disease, maybe, okay, that may be because of the air, means the pathogen transmitted in air or water, yes, etc., or even the land, or even using the used goods or clothes of the patient, etc. So these are because of the external factor. Used goods, or it may be, this external agent may be your small microorganism. So if the carrier is a small microorganism, like maybe your virus, bacteria, maybe your fungi,
Protozoa.
yes, protozoa, etc. If it is the microorganism, then they are called as your vector or pathogens. So such a small microorganism which are carrying the disease, they are called as what? Pathogens. So student, this term you have to keep in mind. Pathogens. It is asked in MCQs. What is pathogens? Pathogens are the microorganism which carries the disease from one person to another. Okay. So most of these are like your acquired disease. So these are like acquired disease. So example can be written so many. Yes, what could be an example?
COVID-19.
Yes.
COVID-19.
Good. The
Coronavirus.
malaria. Whatever the various communicable disease that we have written, that can be written here. So malaria is caused by protozoa. The other?
Corona.
Good. The corona. Very good. Others? No one can think. Various communicable
Dengue.
disease that we have written. The various flu.
Dengue.
Cold.
Dengue.
Yes, dengue, flu, etc. Okay, influenza. So all these are falling. These are the external factor. Get it? Even your fever, okay, or common cold. So mostly these common cold are not because of intrinsic factor, but mostly it occur because of the change in environment or some external microorganism enters in our body. So that one. So these are your extrinsic factor. So this is enough regarding the based on internal or external cause. Now let us go for the next category. So just these categories and these names are important. Okay, student? So you have to keep these names in your mind. The fourth category is our based on whatever the communicable disease that we have learned, means how they are transmitted based on transmission or their source or spreading, how they are spreading. So based on their spreading or transmission, or how they are arising source, that we are going to learn. So it is for our communicable disease mostly of infectious disease, or communicable disease, means how they are transmitted or communicated from the patient to the healthy person. So considering that characteristic, what is the further classification of this communicable disease? Those things we are going to write here. So write their classification. Student, I had told you this communication or communicable disease or transmission can be because of the air or water or sexual contact or microorganism. So this can be broadly classified into four category or four type. You may write, I will write one by one for everyone. So very first one is called as your airborne disease. The second one is waterborne disease. The third one is the contact or the sexual contact or sexually transmitted disease. It is written like transmitted disease. This is written as STD. The fourth one is our microorganism, is pathogen based. So they are called as the vector borne. Vector borne. Or you may write microorganism borne. Okay. So these are the carrier. If the carrier is living organism or microorganism, then it is called as the vector borne. So these are the four category of disease. So let us first write about airborne disease. Their example are very important. So student, the name itself indicate what is the cause of a spread. So disease which spread or caused by air movement from the patient body to the other body. Okay, while the air coming over the patient body, that will take some germ from the patient body, and if it is falling to the healthy person, then healthy person will also fall ill. Getting? So that kind of movement means the germ is carried by the air itself. Okay, so right, disease is spread by air or through the air. How? Because the droplets from the patient float in the air and goes to the healthy person. Here the droplets from infected person goes to air to healthy person. Example, you might be getting, what could be the example? Example like the
Corona.
tuberculosis. Yes, asthma. So what is happening? There is cough. So continuous cough is there, and the droplet that is coming out. So cough and droplet during sneezing. So this carries the infectious germs. So that carries germ which moves to, which transmitted
in air.
in air to healthy person.
Sir, COVID-19.
Yes, you are exactly correct. Getting? So by that way, whatever the germs or the virus coming through the mouth and nose of the COVID person, that if it is spreading to certain distance in the air and falling to the healthy person, they will also fall ill. Okay, so it is this one. Many examples are there, student. Just this TB is enough. You may write the other also, like the various viral disease. Now let us go for the second, waterborne. Here the transferring agent, or what is the agent here? The agent is air. So air is just carrier that carries the germs. Okay, the germs is floating over the air. So it is the first category. The second one is our waterborne. Waterborne, what the name indicate? These examples are very important, student.
Sir, malaria.
Good. So disease,
Disease through water.
good, that is spread through water. Through water. That is, water carries the germs of disease. So if the healthy person is taking that water, they will also fall ill. Get it? What are the common example that you might have heard?
Malaria.
Cholera. CHO. So cholera.
Typhoid.
So what is happening in cholera, student? So if the sewage water or contaminated water enters into our drinking water line, then that drinking water line carries the water to different houses. So large number of houses fall ill at the same time in cholera. Okay. This cholera is basically back to amoeba disease. Another like diarrhea also.
Typhoid.
Yes, the typhoid. Good.
Anthrax.
Very good. The so many more are there. So what is happening in this case? The water or sewage water which carry the disease carrying germs get mixed with which one? Drinking water line. So if this mixing occur, then the disease will occur. So many more are there, but just keep in mind this cholera, typhoid, and diarrhea. In cholera, there is continuous loose motion and many more problem. Vomitings are there. It is that one. Let us go for the third category, the 4C. STD means the sexually transmitted disease. A student, what is this STD? The most common example everyone is aware that. So let us first write down the example. It is the AIDS. Okay, so these AIDS, the full form is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, means the immunity of body is lost. So it leads to, it is acquired means whatever the required immunity, immunodeficiency syndrome. It is this one. Means the immunity of body is lost. Immunity of body is lost. So once the person fall ill, it becomes difficult for that person to get cured because our body have an immune system in our blood, exclusively the WBC, white blood cell, which fight with the germs carrying the disease. So that fighting capacity of our WBC is lost. So immunity is lost. So the person having AIDS, their immunity is lost, and after a long time it becomes difficult for the person to get recover from any of the smaller disease or while he is falling ill. Ultimately, because of the other disease, the patient get died. So this AIDS is carried by a virus. So this is caused by HIV, a virus. So what is the full form of this? The other example are, example let us write first. The other are syphilis. The other could be gonorrhea. It is. So it is caused due to sexual contact. Okay, like smooching or any other activity. So because of that, the disease carried are even more dangerous. The fourth category is our vector borne. Vector borne so vector borne disease, here the name vector indicate host or carrier of the disease carrying germs. So for understanding this vector, we are using some common term. So whatever the disease carrying germs, that disease carrying germs is called as pathogen. So write first the pathogen. What is pathogen? Pathogens are the biological agent causing disease. Biological agent causing okay. So these are what? These pathogens are nothing but these are the germs of disease. You may call this as the germs of disease. Get it? Means if that germs get entered into the body, then the disease will occur. Okay, student? Example, just right now there is a outbreak of corona. Corona is a disease, but this occur by the virus or the germs of the corona is, what is that? Yes, student, for corona, what is the germ? It is your COVID-19. Okay, this is the germs. So this is the pathogen or the germ which is causing the disease. Similarly, even for the malaria, it is the plasmodium. Okay, so many more are there. So what are those pathogens that we have to just list down for 4 kind of disease? So that we are going to write. So these pathogens are moving from patient or from one position to another by certain carrier. These pathogens itself not able to move. Getting? So these pathogens, these are carried by the carrier called by or agent. So that agent which carries this pathogen that agent is called as vector. Getting a student? So what is this vectors? Vectors are, so now write for the vector. So there is a difference between pathogens and vector. Many a time students are getting confused. So student, what is this vector? Vector are nothing but vector are also called as carrier. So these are host or carrier of pathogen. So these are host. Host means in which it lies, the pathogen itself lies, or carrier of pathogens. It is the pathogen that causes disease, but that pathogen move from one person to another, or these pathogens are possessed or carried by some carrier. That carrier is called as vector. Are you getting, student? So vector are what? The host or the carrier of pathogens are called as vector. So these pathogens are basically causing infection. So what are the example? So vector borne disease, write down, vector borne disease are those which are carried by vector. Or so these vector are your small organism. So these are microorganism. Microorganism, also called as microbes. Microbes. So microbes, or maybe your insects, or cuto. So all these carries the pathogens are mostly your virus or bacteria. So these pathogens are virus and bacteria, but these virus and bacteria must be present over some carrier. So that carrier is vector, but the pathogen means that a small germ. So these germ are like your virus or bacteria. So whatever the germs means, the virus or bacteria contains certain chemicals which can cause disorder in the organism. So that activity, that germ is called as pathogen. But this pathogen is present over some other organism. Let us write one example. With this we can understand better. Student, if we consider the malaria, so malaria is a disease. So the germs or pathogen for this malaria is your plasmodium. So plasmodium is the what? Pathogen. Plasmodium is a kind of protozoa. It is a protozoa. So this plasmodium, which is a protozoa, this is the pathogen. But this pathogen is present where? So plasmodium, it is obtained from the female Anopheles mosquito. So mosquito having the larva or germ of plasmodium that causes the malaria. Getting the difference? So from female Anopheles, this is important, a student. It is asked mosquito. So student, this female Anopheles mosquito is what? This is a vector. Get it? So the vector for malaria is Anopheles mosquito. But what is the germ or what is the pathogen of malaria? Then
Malaria.
plasmodium. Okay, or protozoa.
Plasmodium.
And this protozoa is present over the mosquito. You can understand like this. So student, there is a big mosquito. We may draw the mosquito. So consider this is the mosquito. Now this mosquito have the germs. So this is your vector. This is the female mosquito. But in the bite of this mosquito, means in the larva of this mosquito, so its bite contain plasmodium. Plasmodium. Get it? But this entire organism is your female Anopheles mosquito. Get it? So this mosquito possesses this plasmodium or protozoa. So this protozoa is your pathogen and this mosquito is your vector. So the person to whom this plasmodium get injected into their blood cell, that reaches to the liver and liver get damaged and the person starts suffering from malaria. Getting? So this way you have to understand this vector-borne disease. So this is different than the air and water. In air and water, the droplets or the germs was carried by air and water, but in the vector, it is one of the organism which is carrying the other germs. Ready? So it is this one. Now, student, a study of disease is called as etiology. Etiology word may be asked or may not ask. So it is this kind of disease. We have already learned about the direct and indirect transmission. Now let us write for the fifth category. Just two more category are there. By that way the chapter gets ended. We have to learn about immunization process only. So write down the fifth category. The fifth category is based on infectious agent. So a student, these pathogens, these are the infectious agent basically, or these vectors are infectious agent. So what are the various agents? Based on that we are going to divide. Getting? So we may write here various agents could be what this could be. This could be your virus, it could be your bacteria.
Bacteria.
Yes, all these are a small microorganism which are not visible easily. Maybe your fungal infection, maybe the protozoa,
Protozoa.
right? That we have written above. Protozoan, or maybe your the mosquito. Though this mosquito possesses the protozoa. Okay, student, it is this one. So what are the various agents or various pathogens basically? So these are the agents or pathogens. So we have to learn about this. What are the various disease caused by virus, bacteria, fungus, that we have to learn. So based on that, the next category is disease based on infectious or infecting agent, or this infecting agent are our what? Microorganism. Okay, student. So what are the various microorganism and what are the disease caused, that we are just going to tabulate here. So it can be, the very first one is due to the virus. Due to these agents, they are called as the viral disease. Just we have to remember the example. Example are there common cold that occurring, they are the viral. So this viral disease may be the very simple one to the very complex, like COVID is very harmful or very dangerous, or the common cold. Means this viral could be again of the acute or chronic, that kind. So write few more. Influenza, you are already knowing. Dengue fever, the AIDS. There are many more like chicken pox, rabies. These are asked. Whatever I am writing, it may be asked which category all these diseases are. Like our chicken pox, these are. The second one, it could be because of the bacteria or bacterial disease. A student, bacteria like typhoid, the TB, tuberculosis, many more are there. Can you not recall? Cholera, many more are there.
Diarrhea.
Yes, tetanus, many more are there. Anthrax, even syphilis. Observe carefully. This AIDS is a viral STD, means sexually transmitted disease, but syphilis, write the name in this category. Syphilis is a bacteria. Okay, this it is it. These are enough for you. Let us come to the third category. Third category, it may be your fungal or maybe protozoal. Fungal infection or fungal disease. So it can be like skin, over the skin various patches develops. So skin infection, the ringworm that develops in stomach, ringworm and pinworm, they are the fungal. So ringworm pinworm also. Just keep these two are enough. The fourth category called as protozoa. Protozoan disease, just we had written what it was, malaria.
Plasmodium.
Very good. So malaria is a protozoan disease caused by plasmodium. Other are the kala-azar also, kala-azar. The other one is amoebiasis, amoebiasis. Mosquito based also, E. Mosquito, direct mosquito bite, like elephantiasis.
Dengue.
Dengue is a dengue viral. See, here we have written dengue fever. Dengue is viral. So this mosquito, yeah, dengue virus is carried by mosquito. Okay. So most of these mosquito are what? They are the carrier of above pathogen. The other could be your filaria, in which the limb in which this filaria occur that get swelled to a very high thickness, like so that limb even in the leg or the hand start appear like elephant leg or elephant limb. So it is also called as elephantosis. Yes. Okay. So mosquito are nothing but whatever the above, like malaria mosquito, Anopheles. Okay. Like your dengue mosquito are there. So these are the various categories. Now students, this was all about the disease and their classifications that we have learned till now. Student, there is a last category in between. We have learned that there are certain diseases which occur because of the internal disorder, means insufficient intake of nutrition. So that disease is called deficiency disease. So let us make that as a separate category called as disease due to deficiency. So this deficiency is mostly in the diet or in nutrition. So they are also called as PEM, protein energy malnutrition. Okay? In our balanced diet, we need the healthy food so that each ingredient can give sufficient energy to the cell and our body can grow, develop well. But if the ingredient of our food is not sufficient, then it is called as malnutrition. So this may be due to the lack of protein and energy, or other ingredient of our food are the vitamin deficiency.
Vitamins
Maybe,
or calcium.
yeah, maybe due to the vitamin, maybe due to the mineral. These deficiencies causes the disease. So let us just list down. So in this case, again, it can be because of the protein energy malnutrition. This PEM is protein. Protein is important ingredient of our food. Like from where we are getting the protein? from the pulses from the egg. The white portion of egg is very rich in protein. So this is protein energy malnutrition. Protein energy malnutrition. So first category in this could be due to PEM, means lack of protein energy. So insufficient balanced diet. So write that as the PEM, protein energy malnutrition. What are the disease? So in this case, no sufficient sufficient means adequate protein in food or diet. Whatever the diet we are taking, if that do not contain the protein, then such disease occur. How is that? The person become lean and thin with big abdomen. The bones start twisting or tilting, like we are observing in the slum area. The children have slightly tilted bone or legs or hand with big abdomen, stomach. Okay, so that is because of the PEM. So right, so example are, so that category of children is said to be suffering from the disease called marasmus. And second one is kwashiorkor. The next one is your lack of vitamins or minerals. So let us first write for the vitamin deficiency disease. Because of lack of vitamin, again these vitamin are where in our food. Getting no, student? All of these are present in our food. So these are the ingredient of our nutrition. Whatever we are eating, that is the nutrition or food or diet that we are taking. So vitamin deficient diet, that leads to various disease. The disease name that we have to keep in mind.
Night blindness.
Yes.
Very good. Very night blindness, like vitamin A deficiency, night blindness. It is vitamin A deficiency. The other one is also like the same category, is called as beriberi. The other, rickets, where the bones get affected.
Vitamin D.
Yes, vitamin D. Very good. This beriberi is because of the vitamin A. Getting? Scurvy, vitamin C, pellagra, many more are there. You just keep these 2 or 3 in your mind. These are enough. Just you may write it here. Scurvy. This is the vitamin C deficiency. Means citrus fruit, if you are not taking sufficient, that. Another one is, this is vitamin E. This is a skin kind of disease. So this is vitamin E, vitamin K, based on this. So you just remember these 2 or 3. These are enough. Let us go for the next category. C. What is left? Mineral deficiency. So this mineral deficiency, what is importance of mineral in our body? What is bone?
Water.
Water is different component. The bone means these are basically like your calcium, potassium, iron, etc. These are the metals or metal ion that present in our body, like our teeth, our bones. So these are needed for a strong bone and teeth. Getting a student? If mineral deficiency is there, then bone get tilted. Even not only metallic kind of thing, there are various other one also, like your iodine is also, which is non-metal, that is also required for the body. Iodine deficiency. So example, let us write. The first, iodine is present in where? Salt. If iodide salt is not there, then the neck becomes swollen, and swelling neck is called as goiter. Getting a student? So goiter. This is asked. Iodine denoted as I there, deficiency in salt. If the salt do not contain iodine, then goiter occur. Another, most commonly you are knowing that anemia. Why? This occur most commonly in the pregnant women, because there is lack of iron in their body. Because for the development of the children, these irons are required, so that is taken from their mother. So this is iron deficiency, Fe deficiency. So that's why they are given with iron tablets during the pregnancy period. Okay? So all these are. So just keep these 2 or 3 in your mind. These are enough. Even the osteoporosis or weaker bone. Why? Because of the mineral deficiency. So it is our 6th category. So this way we have written everything about the various kind of disease that occur. Now, a student, how these diseases are growing and how they are flourishing and how they are causing the problem to the infected person or patient, that is called as the pathway. What is the pathway of this disease? That we have to understand. So right, the small topic that we have. So the various agents that we have written is also shown here. You can just understand here. The SARS, which is causing the disease. So SARS is a virus that we had already written. The other, you can mark it here, SARS virus. So this is the viral. The second one is our bacteria. So this is the bacteria. Yes, it is the bacteria. Which bacteria is this? It is Staphylococcus bacteria. What it causes? It causes rashes on the skin. So this causes acne and headache, means the pain. The third one is our protozoa. So how these look like, that we are writing? This protozoa, like plasmodium that we have written. So it appear like this. The next one is, this is also a protozoa. Getting? This is the protozoa of Kala-Azar. This is the protozoa of what? Malaria. Okay, student? No, it is for the sleeping sickness, that kind of disease. Okay, causes your sleeping habit. This is for the Kala-Azar. So you have to just keep in mind, this is your fungal. It appears like the ringworm itself. So it is the fungal roundworm. So you have to just understand this thing, or you have to just keep in mind, get aware of this. We have written at various places which organism carrying which kind of disease. So how is this a small organism? It is shown here. Okay, students. Now these organisms have their own pathway of causing the disease or affecting the body. So right. So write down, students. Pathway are what? The method or the process. Pathway of microorganism or infectious agent or pathogen, so to cause the harm. So while the disease is progressing, like you are observing, many a time if the common cold and various diseases are not treated, then it becomes more severe. Why? So how that severity increases by that agent, how these agents are affecting the body. So how they affect body of a person or the patient, how they are affected. That is called as your pathway. The process by which it affects the patient, that is called the pathway. Student, different microorganisms have different pathway. Though all of them enter into the body, they have different target organs. So right, different pathogens have different pathway. And different target organs. Pathway includes your how they are entering into the body, how it enter into body, how it grows and move to the target organ, so that the target organ get damaged, and this organ get damaged. As a result, if it is not getting treated, then that may ultimately leads to death of the patient. So how these microorganisms are affected, even entering into body, then how they are growing, all those things we have to just understand for few of them. Students, different organisms have different pathway. Even for the bacteria have different pathway than the virus. Like the bacteria enters into the body cells and they grow there, so that the cell gets a cell membrane. So cell membrane start developing in the body of the patient. Those cell membrane are characteristic of plant cell. This way the human body get disturbed. Therefore, we can stop this bacteria by giving the medicine called antibiotic. But the virus is not doing so. Virus is following something different mechanism. Virus is not forming the cell over the cell wall. So their mechanism or their pathway is different. So the antibiotic which is applicable for the bacteria cannot be given for the viral disease. Okay, student? So write example. Antibiotic. Antibiotic is a medicine, is useful for bacterial disease. So whatever the bacterial disease that we have written, like cholera, diarrhea, their antibiotic can be used. But this antibiotic cannot be used for the viral disease like AIDS, okay, or dengue fever, in those things. Bacterial disease, but not suitable or not effective in viral disease. Why? Because bacteria have different pathway or different method of their growth. So this antibiotic, what it does, it blocks the pathway of, means the growth of cell wall by the bacteria over the individual cell of organism. So that blocks the pathway of bacteria. By this way, the bacterial disease get or comes under control by applying the medicine called antibiotic. Getting, no? Antibiotic is what? A medicine. Getting, a student? Most commonly we are getting from our hospital. It is this one. So student, what are these pathway and their targeted organ? That just we have to write at one place. That is enough. So example, I'm going to write it here. So let us write down the example. A student, if we consider the TB, the first one, it is asked what is the target organ, that is asked. TB is which kind of, which category? What is the causing agent? Or let me tabulate it. Students, I'm going to tabulate few things. The very first one is our the disease. What is the causing agent of that disease? Then we will write for their entry point. Entry, their target organ. Target organ means that will damage that organ. And then there, what is the symptom that we can also write. A student, let us consider very first as the TB, tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, which kind of causing agent, a student? There we had already listed. Yes?
Asthma.
Asthma, that is okay, but whether it is bacterial, viral, which kind of agent is there? We had just written, no, it is bacterial. Okay? Where it enters through nose. Okay? Where it goes, or the organ which is affected by this TB, which one? It is a respiratory disease. It start coughing,
Respiratory system.
and breathlessness. So which organ it affect? It is the lungs. Okay, it is very important. You have to keep in mind. It is asked what is the target organ. What is their breathlessness? Coughing and fever. Sometimes fever also arises. So first one is our this. Okay, write down the second one. We have to just keep in mind what are their entry and exit points for few of them. Write down typhoid. It is in your book and it is always asked. So it is also bacteria. It enter through the mouth. Typhoid. Why? Waterborne disease. Okay now. So bacteria means if you are drinking the bacteria able to cause typhoid present in the water, then this typhoid will occur. It affects the entire digestive system, that is called as the gut lining, means stomach and intestine. Stomach and intestine. So stomach and intestine get damaged. Getting? So what is there? There is high fever. That is the symptom. How to come to know? The third one is your jaundice. The jaundice is a viral. So viruses, it also occur because of the water borne. So it occur through the mouth, the virus causing jaundice that enters. So this is waterborne. This also water. And this jaundice affects the liver. The liver get damaged. So digestion problem has started. And the body become yellow body. The body turn pale, means become yellowish. The fourth one is the AIDS. AIDS is caused by the virus HIV. The entry point, like our mouth and the sexual organs. So sexual organs, and it affects what? It affects our blood cell, exclusively WBC. So WBC, white blood cell, is being damaged. Entire blood, that is called as the lymph node. Lymph node is damaged. And this lymph and WBC is spread all over the body. So poor immune. So immunity destroyed. The fifth, malaria. That we have learned, it is caused by the mosquito. What is that? Female Anopheles.
Female
Male
Anopheles.
Anopheles do not carry that plasmodium. So male Anopheles do not causes malaria. So it is mosquito. This contain plasmodium. Okay now? So this have plasmodium that I had explained. And this malaria, why? Mosquito
Skin.
will do what? Mosquito
Skin.
bite. It always give the mosquito bite. It also affects your liver. The liver get heavily damaged. Liver to, then it goes to your blood, then RBC. This RBC will get damaged. The RBC get contaminated with the plasmodium after the damage of liver. And if that blood, and if the mosquito is taking the bite, and that mosquito even giving the bite to the healthy person will die or even fall in malaria. Okay, so there is periodic fever, high periodic fever. Periodic fever means the fever will occur in morning and evening. Okay, means at regular interval. The sixth one, write down, encephalitis. So the cause is virus, and it is also by the encephalitis mosquito. So this is also, that mosquito carries this virus, mosquito bite, and it affect the brain. This is also called as brain fever. Brain fever. So brain fever is nothing but encephalitis. Okay, so encephalitis, this you have to keep in mind. This is also called as the brain fever. So this is all about the pathway, means how the pathogens enter into our body. What is the mechanism of entry, means which organism causes this entry, from which point, how it damages, and what are the symptoms or feature that get developed. So this is all about the disease. So everything we have written and we have learned. The only a small thing about the treatment. Treatment, in that we have learned that prevention is better than cure. Okay, but still let us write few things. Treatment of disease. Okay, student. So this treatment can be of the two category. One is called as the symptom based. So what is the symptom? Based on that the medicine is given so that the symptom is reduced. Say fever is high, so give the medicine for reducing the fever. Another is attacking over the infectious agent or cause of the disease. Say this high fever is because of this malaria fever, means the malaria protozoa. So give the medicine like quinine to kill the malaria protozoa in the body. So two things are always given for the treatment. So very first one is, what is the principle of this treatment? Means treatment of disease, their principle or way of the treatment. So first one is reducing the effect of the disease. Reducing effect of disease. Example, if fever, then give medicine to reduce the fever. Okay, medicine to reduce temperature of the patient. But just reducing temperature is not sufficient, because as long as the pathogen of malaria is inside the body of the patient, again the temperature will rise. Okay, so for that you need to kill the germs. So that is the second thing. The second one is, or the B is your kill the microbe or pathogen. Example, say if malaria, then give quinone. medicine. Okay, so this quinine, it is basically hydrochloroquinone. Those things need not mug up. So this attack over the plasmodium. So this kills the plasmodium. This way the malaria get cured. So two things are always there. And we had also learned that this prevention is better than cure. Why, student? That
Because
very
after
good. There are
curing, then
three
it will
important effects.
damage our.
Very good. So we have learned the three important effects. So those effects are, very first, once it get damaged, that you cannot recover it. So those effects are, we have listed in the beginning. You can see.
Sir, after curing, the body
Yes,
will be very weak. Fight.
yes. So these are the three factors. As a result, it is always stated that prevention is better than cure. Are you getting it, students? So these three factors that you have to keep in mind. Getting? Then how to prevent? So method of prevention. Then method of prevention. What is there? You have already learned. It can be immunization and vaccination. Yes, student?
Vaccination.
Very good. So we have to just write about the immunization and vaccination. So write down. One is immunization. What is this immunization? In this, develop the immunity.
Immune system.
Yes. Immunity to person, to defer or to avoid the attack of the germs of that particular disease. So the immune system is made stronger. So for this, certain medicines are given. That medicine may be oral or maybe maybe in form of injection. So precautionary medicine so this medicine may be in the oral form. Oral means those medicine which can be taken in our mouth, like your tablet or maybe your injection. Example, the term like polio. Yes, student. Polio was quite common earlier days, but
Polio drop.
Salk vaccine. So this is given as immunization method or vaccination method to avoid the attack of polio in the early age. Okay, student? So you have to keep in mind, for polio, what is given? The Salk vaccine is given. Student, there are various other one. For rabies also, anti-rabies vaccine is there. Second one is rabies. So there is anti-rabies vaccines. So whatever this injection method, this method is called as vaccination. Okay. So vaccination is nothing but the method of injecting to improve the immune system. So vaccination is now quite common. So right, vaccination is most common method of immunization, where the effect or efficiency of vaccine is much more than that of the oral means or giving the tablet. That's why vaccine is always preferred. So this is all about this chapter. So this was even the last topic. Even for tetanus there is, even in children we are giving for the BCG also. So many more this vaccination or immunization methods are there and drugs are there. You need not mug up those things. Those things are not required to mug up. It is not in your book. So this way we have collected each and everything what is required. So student, whatever you have collected in your notebook, please read that. That is enough for you. But the thing is that in this chapter you have to remember the terms, their examples. So they are very important. Yeah, student, any doubt then please ask to me. If you have any doubt. A student, just write one term like BCG. What is the full form of BCG? It is asked. Okay. BCG is your Bacillus calmette guerin. Okay. This BCG. It is given in the children to avoid the attack of like your cholera, vomiting, all those things. So this contain many components. So this is a vaccination or immunization or immunization. So method of immunization in children against cholera and other waterborne disease. So these other waterborne disease shall not occur to the children while they are growing. So BCG is, BCG का टीका बोलते हैं ना, the same BCG is this one. So it is enough about this chapter, even more than enough. Nothing will ask more than this. Yes, student, any doubt then please ask. Otherwise we have finished the entire chapter. So student, now your homework is your textbook. All the blue question please finish. All your exercise question please finish. Now you are able to answer each and every question because we have written everything very much point wise. So you can get the answer very easily and write the point wise as I have written. Okay. So that way you have to write. Yeah, anything more than please tell me. Next one is please review your maths. A student, tomorrow let us keep maths revision class. Okay, revision and doubt class. So please do practice. Start practicing from right now. Go for mathematics revision after finishing this science homework, and then you have to collect all your doubts so that in tomorrow class we can discuss your doubts